Welcome back to Full Circle Angling. Welcome to a rather cracking day on the Holderness coast.
It is. Wonderful day. It's almost like the first day of spring, isn't it?
It is. Although it's the 21st of January. It certainly doesn't feel like it. It's probably, I don't know, what, 2-3 degrees?
Yeah. Feels like spring because I've got about 9 layers of clothes on, so I'm probably hiding the true temperature.
Yeah. I've got a few layers less. That's because I've had I think it's fair to say, a rather interesting morning so far.
Yep.
A little bit of dry spigot trouble, which fortunately with the help of another angler down the beach I managed to sort out, but not a good start. Anyway, we've got baits in the water. We're about an hour into the flood, it's 11:30, high water's about 4:30. I think it's fair to say there's probably a bit more sea running than what the forecast had made out.
Yep.
There's been a bit of a northerly on Thursday, so there's loads of colour in the water, which is great, but the residual swell is probably, what, a couple of foot, maybe 2.5 foot.
It is, yeah.
It's due to back off the whole day, so hopefully as the tide floods, there's a couple of nice gullies just here and a one just in front of us here about 20 yards out, so hopefully the sea flattens, tide floods, you lose the light a little bit and fish start to come in. So what do you reckon the chances are?
Well, I think we've got as good a chance as any. I'm hopeful today with this bit of swell that's left here. It's very bassy, and I know the guy just up from us has just had a schoolie there, so I'm hoping I get my first bass of the year today. Fingers crossed. But like David says, it's forecast to drop off even more. Like when you get a bit more water on this beach, you can see where the features are further up. I think if anything it's going to fish more towards the high water mark.
Definitely,
so I brought 2 rods down. I'm only going to fish the one to start with, just to see how we'll go, and then as we get a bit more depth in the water, I'm going to start fishing with 2 rods and maximise my efforts, but we'll see how we'll get on it.
Yep, exactly. Right, get some fresh bait in, we'll keep you posted. Right, what a carry on I've had so far this morning. I've been using both of me trusty HSTs, which I love using down here, and because one of them doesn't get that much use and it's basically a brand new rod, the spigot's still very, very tight on it, and I did put a bit of saliva on. I've just pushed it slightly too far. God, I just couldn't get it out. Fortunately, the bloke up the beach is a bit of a unit, and I managed to get a rubber glove, so together we've got it out, but Gary's got a load of hand cream, so I've lathered it in that and haven't pushed it in as far, and touch wood, it seems to be all right, but not the start of the day after you've just driven 3 hours. Well, Gary's just driven 3 hours. Anyway, so tide's starting to flood. You can probably see behind us there's a nice gully, and about 20 yards in front of Gary there's another one. So as the water comes in, it gets a bit deeper. I mean, we're probably going to be in 6-7 foot, maybe 8-9 feet into that gully. So I think pinning the hopes definitely on the flood. Anyway, rigs that I'm going to use today. I'm a huge fan of the loop rig, two hoop loop rig, and I do have some with us, but I'm kind of just wanting to maximise distance, so I'm just going for a very, very simple pulley. No rotten bottom, it's pretty clean here. We're at Aldborough. Some places around here do have a bit of broken ground. The runnels have lost a bit of gear down there, and places around Dimo and Easington. Anyway, 6-ounce sinker, splashdown, 80-pound ASO rig body, bead, power swivel, another bead, power swivel, 50-pound amnesia, probably what, 3.5 foot onto panel setup of Mustard Ultra Point 3.0 long shank worm, absolutely superb hooks. 3.0, it'll still catch the whiting, possibly even a flatty if they're about, and obviously it'll still catch the cod and the bass and a ray, but I think it's too rough for the rays today, and to be honest right now probably too rough for the codling, but hopefully there's a bass or two. What I'm going to do bait wise, very simple. On this particular rig, got some cracking yellowtails from AD in Wallsend. Cheers Andy, sorted us out. Thought I'd left it too late, rang him Thursday morning, sorted us out with 50 yellow, so a bit of a lifesaver. And what I'm going to do, I just like to get all that water out, effectively gut them, and immediately they'll go into a bit of a muscle contraction like that. You can give them a little slam on the ground and they'll tighten right up, and that's the way I've always liked to fish them. They're firm and they'll stay on the hook and on the bottom much longer. I just nip the tail off, thread that through, and what I like to do when I'm using worm baits like this, all I get, head of a ragworm, 1.5 inches, and I just like to tip it off with a little bit of rag. Very simple stuff, and of course what that gives you is a very streamlined bait that'll maximise your distance 3 times round, and I just like to get that just into the main meat of the worm, straighten it up, and there you are. Dead simple, but as I say, maximise distance into the splashdown. And of course the beauty with splashdowns is you can clip your rig up, put it on the beach, and by magic it remains clipped up, and there you have it. And that is probably your best option for a long range rig. You can use a fixed paternoster if you like. Some people prefer them. I've just gone pulleys today because I do like me sinker to be up and out the way if I get a fish. Just thought I'd show you this little gully that's in front of us now is kind of perfectly illustrating what happens out there and in these gullies when this fills up. Even just 5 minutes ago that water was gin clear, but as soon as this flood and tide start to push in, it started to already stir the bottom and bring a load of that colour from out there. And you can see, I mean it's clear and patchy at times, but you can see the tide flowing in and you can see bits and bobs getting washed down. So as these fill, you'll either have any fish coming in from the bottom, the downside tide of the gully, swimming up, getting the scent of whatever's being washed out, or any fish just using the current to save energy just to swim down. So hopefully that gully out there as it fills up will start to do just that. It'll just stir up a bit, tear out whatever food's there and attract the fish in. And to be honest, at high water, this gully as well, now it's only 6 inches deep, but it'll sharp fill up. And with loads of colour and a bit of light, you don't need much depth, especially for the bass. A lot of the time you end up casting over the bass, so I think we're going to have to move the rods back because of this tide is starting to fill quite quickly. Well, I can't even say the blanks off really, because I mean, come on, but there's a codling out there. I have noticed the ones down here are very light in colour compared to the ones that we'll get up the coast. Probably a difference in habitat and diet, I think. Anyway, just a little fella, but better than nothing. Let's get him back, get another bait out. Right, so this tide is racing in. I'm going to see if I can sneak one more cast on that sandbar that was standing on before it's a bit too dodgy. One out, see if I can sneak another. A little bit of weed starting to show as this tide's flooding. fact, I'm just going to shorten that drop with us having a bit of water behind it. Nearly lost me finger stall there. Managed to grab it in the nick of time. Occasionally that does happen, but saved it. I do always carry a couple of spares.
So, rig-wise, for myself today, I'm going to start off, all I'm going to use is just your basic pulley rig, and there's nothing to it really, so I'll just quickly go through it. Weight-wise, I've just, because there's a strong tie pull here and we are getting pulled quite heavily. Obviously we're braid on a beach, I think it is a bit more pronounced, that pull anyway. If it does get any worse, like I have got some multiplies with this and I might switch over to mono, which that little bit of pull, a little bit of flex on the mono, sometimes, well, it will help us bedding, but we'll see how we go. But weight-wise, so I've just got a 6 ounce on the bottom, basic. I've just bent over, just so it'll grip in. I just thought that little knock there. Don't think I did. And then I've just got an imp on the bottom. That's £80 mono. Small bead. I've got a pulley bead, another bead onto a swivel, and then I've got, oh, if I can get it untangled, the business end, that's going down to £40 amnesia, and on the end, all I've got there, got a 3/0 Sakuma Manta, and at the top the fisher pennel. That is one of those, it's a 3/0 octopus hook, which is a Sakuma hook as well. I'm just going to wrap that round because I'm going to use various baits, so I don't actually know how far I'm going to set that up. And that's basically it really, just keep it simple, see how we'll get on.
Both these rods have been in a fair while now, and I don't know if you can pick that up on the camera, but they've been pulled quite a bit, so I'm going to get them in, probably try and throw up tide a little bit just to combat the tide for a bit, because this is pretty far down tide. There's a tiny bit of weight on it, but there has been a little bit of weed, and it doesn't take a lot of weed along with that tide to feel like this, to make it a bit heavy. Just try and keep the pressure on, but not too much, because I'm coming in against these waves at about 45 degrees, so I don't want to. I've got a feeling there is a fish on here, mind. You can see I'm almost parallel with the beach here, but we do have something with fins. Whiting. It's not a bad whiting, that. Lovely, lovely condition fish. Lovely, fairly fat winter whiting. Huge black eyes. And this is why I use 50-pound hook lengths. I don't know if you can see those. They've got fairly ferocious teeth for what they are. Anyway, it's only lip hook, so we'll get him back.
Yeah, I think we've got it.
Yep, Gary's into a fish.
Yep, I feel it banging. Don't know whether I've got a big hole of weed round it, mine, so. But it felt very much a bassy knock.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's banging away now. Key is try and get it in on a wave, because these waves are dead sucky. Doesn't feel, just hold it. Yeah, it's a fish, and it's a small fish. And it is
Codling.
codling, a small codling.
Nice one.
Give a really good bite, that. That was perfectly hooked there, top hook, got it. And there we have a little, flighty, little Holderness codling, but very small, so we're going to get this one straight back. Perfectly hooked, so this will go back, no bother this. Well, he's just went on a roller coaster there, but I think he'll be all right.
Yeah. Well, that's a good sign. Gary's had a codling, a better size one, probably just about legal size. The sea has flattened off quite a bit as these deeper gullies have started to fill with water, which is a really good sign. We've got probably still 3 hours till high water, so I think we're starting to feel more and more confident, especially with a couple of fish starting to show, so it's good. I think that was on worm bait. I've had crab out, had absolutely nothing. Same with Gary, as soon as you put the lug on, it seems to be what they want. There's a gradient on the beach, so I'm just having to shorten my drop. Not drop the tip quite as much. Right, I think that's just into that gully that was in front of us when we first started. I really do enjoy fishing down here, this part of the coast. Don't know what it is, there's just something about it. It's obviously got a decent reputation for throwing a few fish out, but it's just nice to do a bit of like proper beach fishing, because do the odd bit at home, but it's generally in the dark. It's lovely just to sit, especially on a day like this. You can fish 2 rods, it's relatively hassle-free. And the good thing about down here is you've always got a chance of a bass, a ray, a few other odds and sods, so it's good sort of mixed species venue, and you've got every chance of a decent cod as well. Something's had a go at that. Yeah, got it. Think so, yeah. Oh, yeah. Swimming in with the waves. Yep, feel a few shakes there now. I don't think it's not particularly big, like, but definitely a fish.
David could be into a fish here. Have a look. Yes, definitely a fish there.
Big fat whiting. Chubby, chunky whiting. Lovely colours on it.
Yeah, very nice.
Not a bad little bite.
Yeah,
just
that's all right. That, yeah,
in the mouth. So
superb.
Get him back.
Absolutely. And it's gone.
Pinch a bit of rag from Gary. Some of these rag are only small, so I'm just going to get the whole thing on. That one's probably only 3 inches or something. Tide, the initial surge from the flood, when the tide turned before, has definitely eased a bit. We are getting pulled at the right a bit, but it's nowhere near as bad as what it was. Often find with a tide cycle, the flow of it isn't consistent over the full 6-hour period. It generally starts a bit quicker and then does tend to slow down a bit, and you can definitely tell that here. It's also helped by the fact that we're now fishing in much deeper water, which is probably evident by the fact that the swell's died off. So I'm feeling pretty confident now. As I say, we've still got 3 hours till high water. We might have to get up onto the cliffs a little bit, depending on how far up it comes. There is frost on the beach which might indicate it hasn't been all the way up to the cliffs, but we'll just have to deal with that as and when. So we're going to lose the sun shining on the sea probably in the next half hour as well. So in the words of D. Ream, things can only get better. I think that was also used by Tony Blair on his massive 97 campaign. Not that this is a politics show. Yep. Just getting another knock on that left-hand rod there. It's only been in 2 minutes and I've got hands are covered in bait. Definitely just had a little touch there. Probably another whiting or a small codling. Doing the classic thing here of watching it, not getting my hands on the rod, still baiting up another rig. Pretty foolish, but there you go. Knock again. So this is this sort of stringy weed that keeps getting caught on me leader. This whole stretch of coastline can be pretty notorious for it. Certain stages of the tide and certain size of tides, some places more than others. Bigger tides like today, fishing further south, can just be a complete nightmare and more or less unfishable at times, but other than little bits that we're getting now that are stuck on the leader, it's not too much of a problem. You can just, if you do get a fish, you can just walk it up the beach and you're all right. Only takes 2 minutes to pull off, as you can see. I must admit I'm slightly reluctant to put this on because all the fish seem to just be coming on straight worm baits, but got a little bit of lug, bit of carp wing, wrapped with a bit of squid on that one. It's been hanging off my tripod for about the last hour, so it's probably about time I send it out. See if I can get it into one of those channels and see if there's anything out there that fancies it. Right hand rod's been in for quite a while now. Tiny bit of weight, but I think no, we've got a small fish. We do have a small fish. Another whiting. Just fortunately, again, lip hooked, so that'll come straight out. Wants to keep that bit of ragworm. But another lovely Yorkshire whiting. Cracking colours on them. Make nice eating these as well actually, but he's only lip hooked, so he can go back. Had a cracking bite on that rod there. Yeah. I've just seen a proper lunge on there, like. Yep, someone's having a go. Yep, got it. Feels a bit better. It was a decent bite, that. This is a better fish, this.
Yeah, superb.
Just want to try and keep the pressure on without pulling too hard against the backwash.
These backwash of these waves are so sucky. You've really got to time it to get the fish in it with the wave, really, or it can literally just rip the fish off the hook if it's not well hooked.
Feel it banging there now.
Yeah, that's definitely the best fish of the day. That's a nice fish. That's half decent. Yes! Now that's a cod. Woo. That's a nice cod.
That's a better one.
Oh, that's got to be,
probably
that's got to be good 4 in it.
Yeah.
It's a good 4, I'd say that.
Yeah.
I've got scales, we'll get it on the scales there and get it weighed there.
Yeah, it was a cracking bite. Good fight in as well.
Yeah, it's a good. I tell you what, it's been feeding well as well, that one.
And actually, that was on the carton squid that I was reluctant to put on. So
there you go.
Just shows. Get in.
Yeah, nice one. Well done, mate. £4.9.
Spot
well
on.
Done.
Got a lovely fat belly on him, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Right. Well, cracking Holderness codling. £4.9. That's what we came for. Got about an hour and a half till the flood, till the top of the tide. So fingers crossed we get a few more of those come in. And that was on the squid and carton lug, so I think I know what I'm putting on next. Right, well after that, it feels fairly foolish not to ignore what that fish has just taken, so I'm gonna get myself a nice little compact squid and wing parcel out there. All I'm doing is, what's that, 1.5 to 2 inches. You've got the slightly firmer brown meat that's been inside the female crab on one side, so on the other side where it's softer, what I've done is I've just cut a little bit of little rectangular squid. Just gonna wrap that around it, not the whole thing, just maybe, I don't know, 3/4, something like that, just to keep some of those flavours inside of it, so that ooze out in the bottom and the tide doesn't just wash them all out straight away, because you can see how much tide's out there by the way the rod tips are pulling. So it's going to make a nice compact bait, and that isn't a massive bait by any stretch, but there's no doubt whatsoever that any fish out there will home in on that. Get that bound up. Second hook. And that fish that I've just had there is exactly why I like to go for 3/0s, because they've got plenty enough strength in them to pull in a decent fish like that, and they'll also catch you a whiting smaller fish. So there you go, nice little squid and carton parcel. Get that clipped up and get it sent out. Guy along's just had a reasonable fish as well. I'm not sure how big it was, maybe 3-ish, something like that. So hopefully we've got about another hour and 20 till the top of the tide. The pull isn't as bad now, the flow seems to have eased a little bit. These gullies that were in front of us earlier on will be holding a good amount of water now, and as we've just seen, there's obviously fish swimming past and coming into them. So let's just hope as this light subsides as well, a few bigger fish start to move in. A little bit of weight on this, but I think it might just be weed.
Oh, it's a fish?
Fish, yeah. Another another chunky winter whiting. Didn't even see a bite on that, so I'm not sure how long he's been on. I'm not sure he's going to make it either, but
very small, whatever it is though, because that glass tip, like, it does not pull over with a fish on.
well, that's just about the end of the session. It's been a pretty enjoyable day.
Yeah, it's not been a bad day at all, actually. Obviously, it's a bit of a run down here to get here, isn't it? But we do like coming down here, don't we? We've had some good sessions down here.
We have.
Yeah, weather's been really good. It's been quite pleasant just sitting here. David's obviously absolutely nailed a really nice cod we had on the scales. It was just 4.9.
Yeah,
it's a nice fish, that. Nice fish, that.
Yeah, no,
so,
pleased with that. It's what we came for. Decent cod. So we've had plenty of fish throughout the day to keep it busy as well. Nothing massive, but as Gary says, it's lovely just to get down here. First trip of the year.
Absolutely.
Been a cracking day for it. It was pretty warm actually during the day,
but the temperature's plummeted now. You can feel it.
The frost at the top of the beach hasn't gone anywhere all day, which kind of shows you how cold it is. But it should make getting up those cliffs a bit easier if everything starts to freeze again. So no, it's been great. It's just about high water now. It's going to start ebbing. It has gone very quiet actually, hasn't it?
It has, yeah.
So we might stay for a little bit longer. If we get anything, we'll show you, but if not, as always, thanks for watching. Tight lines, keep fishing. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.
See you later.